So I'm terrible. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it just happens. Like I lose track of time.
I
So this
I I would
tonight
be
it was a
honest.
cooking issue. So
I am one of those people that I would much rather be 30 minutes early than a minute late. Like I get like nauseous and start to like panic and like get anxious and stuff. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna be late. Abby
I
hates it.
think I think my problem is that was my mom. My mom was like, "You are 30 minutes early to doctor's appointments, school, doesn't matter. You are always early." And I think at that point it got me so stressed that it was just like a, you know what? I've got all the time in the world kind of thing. I don't, but I like to think of that.
Well, of course, Star Wars Alliance is a part of the GUA, the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network, with all of your geek needs, with a plethora of shows every single day of the week, whether that be weekly or bi weekly. Of course, we have World's Finest True Believers, DC Alliance, superhero discussions, Star Wars Alliance. Uh, Oh shoot! Marvel Alliance, a walk through the multiverse, and a slice of film with a plethora of hosts: Chris, Brent, Travis Snell, Travis Hines, Joe, Jake, Taylor, Tony. Taylor's over there at Geekverse. And I don't know if you've been seeing the conversation real quick on the GUA. I I didn't even notice what was happening in the uh, with YouTube, because of course I knew the topics at hand. I knew we were probably going to get into a pretty big discussion about what happened this week, and
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, Scott here, I see he was already commenting before we went live, and so I'm like, what? How are people finding our
Yeah.
stuff already? But then I'm looking at YouTube on my other screen. I see the photo that Taylor and Snell put, and guys, like, I don't like. They even said it themselves. They don't want to be those people, and we know them ever since what Force Awakens, probably even
Mm-hmm.
earlier than that. But like the whole hate on Kathleen Kennedy, we will get there when we get there. But
Yep.
like as soon as I saw that, like I was just like, you dirty, dirty guys. Like this
You
this
know?
screams clickbait. I'm sorry, but it does.
Hey, but y'all, if you're here and you're new because you found a clickbait title, we appreciate you guys. Like, we really do. And stick around for more because we are more than clickbait. I really hate clickbait stuff. So, but I don't get to control who puts the title on. Cough, cough, Snell.
It's missing the red flowing eyes and huge yellow text. Glowing eyes, yes. Oh man. But of course, we shout out the network. We do have a Patreon. This is an ad-supported network. You will be getting ads throughout this show. And if you don't want to hear these ads, of course, you can always join our Patreon. $1 says thank you. $5 gives you that exclusive content, as well as early shows with 0 ads. Now, uh, we missed the boat on Manscaped. You know, all you guys have now missed the boat. I don't believe they are uh, sponsoring us anymore, but it was a good
That's
ride.
correct.
I'm so glad that I have my lawnmower 4.0. Even if we aren't sponsored, I just want to shout them out. Uh, you know, nose hair trimmers saving my life every single day. You know, but still, they make excellent Christmas gifts. So go check them out. But yeah, Katie, where are we gonna start today? Because we have a lot
So,
to talk about.
okay, so we just gotta go ahead and talk about Disney Plus today.
Oh my. I almost came in here with like a glass of bourbon.
What do you think I did?
Oh man. I once you start to talk, I may go grab one or the whole bottle. I was livid, Katie. I was just waiting. Freaking time came back and oh my god. Of course he's always watching. Of course.
No.
What is clickbaity about the thumbnail and the headline? There is no red eyes. There's no red eyes. It says she's staying for 2 years. It's not a crying emoji. It's not a mad emoji. There's nothing clickbaity about it. Gone. Bye-bye.
That was so worth it. So
I
worth
needed
it.
that.
Now, see, and we've always poked fun of him. We always poked fun of him for him never listening to Star Wars Alliance. Now there's proof he now listens to Star Wars Alliance. Look at that. We got a new listener.
Clay, he didn't listen. I posted in the chat my tweet for Star Wars Alliance where I said, join us as we talk about Kathleen Kennedy leading Lucasfilm for 3 more years. Star clickbait star.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. Because in the days coming up to Disney Plus, he did actually send us a screenshot in the GUA chat. He's like, okay, I'm preparing for Disney Plus Day. And then everybody was freaking disappointed. Katie, what the fragnogs
Just
happened?
say it. No, just say it.
What the fuck happened on Friday? What
I have no
happened?
idea.
I don't get it.
Joe said still don't think he listens to Worlds. Walk through the multiverse.
I listen,
So-
Joe. That's okay. I listen.
Y'all killing me. Chris
Man,
said, wait,
everybody's
is Kathleen...
jumping in here.
Yeah.
Wait, is Kathleen Kennedy getting fired? Was that the big announcement from Disney Plus? You guys need to
No.
stop. You
The
guys
big-
need to stop.
The big Star Wars announcement for Disney Plus Day was a leaked Kenobi behind the scenes shot. And there's not even much behind the scenes. It's a couple pieces of concept art, and then like some lightsaber training fights. And that's it.
You know what? I'm glad Chris is here. Hopefully he's here, not just like coming in here to make a comment and then walk away. But people were saying that Kenobi teaser was actually in the Investor Day presentation last year.
Yep.
But for me, as a non-investor, when they were showing things, it kind of just dissipated into a countdown. So I didn't get to see anything. So
Mhm.
even that would have been hyped for me. But you know what? It leaked the day before.
Yeah. And like to see how much we got from Marvel, and I kind of spoke on this, but it's like they talked about news reveals and behind the scenes peeks. And they had some behind the scenes stuff. I forgot to watch the Boba Fett documentary.
I was so
being honest,
livid. I
but-
was like, no, I am protesting. I am not watching this. I'm gonna watch it before Boba Fett comes out. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna
Mhm.
watch it. But I was legit so upset when literally nothing came out for Star Wars.
Yeah. And it's really disappointing to see because, I mean, there's a lot of effort that's been put into trying to make sure that Star Wars stays alive, and the books are killing it right now. Like, books are keeping, and books is what kept Star Wars alive over the years when there was no form of media on screen. So for me, that works for me because I love reading. But to kind of see the stuff that Marvel was putting out, it wasn't really even stuff. Like, we got a logo and said coming soon. Where was that for Andor? Where was that for Bad Batch season 2, which we all know is coming next year?
Yeah,
We all know that's coming next year.
you made the argument that these are quote unquote non-news segments for Marvel because we already knew them. I tried to play devil's advocate and saying, well, the general audience doesn't know about this. You said, well, do you think the general audience is really looking at this stuff, watching it? I made the argument, well, they did pay for advertisement. Now, the one thing I do think is a horrible thing for Disney to do is to put all of this stuff on a paywall putting it in Disney Plus.
They put some of it on a paywall, but the rest of it was a news report in a Twitter feed. A Twitter feed. And might I have you, this was so poorly coordinated that the trades and some of the upper echelon of fan news sites were getting press reports about stuff that hadn't even been posted in the Twitter feed yet.
Yeah.
So they were going ahead and posting it because they got the press report. But you've only got so many fingers. Like, you're really going to put it on a Twitter feed?
And the way, like, because I think, and I guess just because Marvel was the one that had pretty much the most out of everybody, but you were right. It's not even on one whole feed, because I think James Gunn was the one that got to announce the I Am Groot series, and then Marvel Studios put out one thing, and then some trades put out another stuff, while Disney Plus kept on just going along with their thread. And it just hurts, because you're right. We have what seems like a lot going for Star Wars in 2022 when it comes to visual media.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't give a hint of anything. Not exactly how you're saying it. Not even a photo in a thread. That's all you could have done.
To say, oh yeah, you're included. Like,
Yeah.
we know Andor's coming. Ahsoka's supposed to start filming in December, so next month. Bad Batch season 2 is almost done. Kenobi's coming. We got material for that. We didn't even get additional promotional material for the show that's coming in a month and a half. Like, why the hell did you put the Boba Fett trailer out on Monday night when you have Disney Plus Day on Friday?
That's the one thing that I was upset about. Like, the fact that it was released so close to Disney Plus Day, and you could have just waited. Like, and there's a small, quote unquote, small argument you can make in saying, oh, there's just way too much content, and maybe you want to give Star Wars their whole day to themselves. But that, I say, is bullshit, because you're a company with, like, the whole point of you buying all of these freaking IPs is to make money off of them. And seemingly, you don't want to make money.
And it's not like even like every single Marvel announcement that came out with the logo and everything, not all of those were updated logos. So it's not like you could have even just said, here's the Andor logo coming 2022. Like, that's what you did with the Marvel stuff. Like, it makes absolutely no sense to me, the marketing scheme for Lucasfilm. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And come to find out, D23 is this coming weekend. And we will get, reportedly, no Star Wars mention on D23. Where is your fucking Star Wars promotion? Where is it? Because I could have seen, hang on, I could have seen releasing Book of Boba Fett during Monday Night Football and saying, I've got a big audience here. We're going to release it at halftime. They've done that in the past with shows, movies. They've done it. Point blank, they've done it. And you're telling me that you couldn't hold Book of Boba Fett even for Monday Night Football. No, you released it at 9:30 a.m. Monday morning. And just said, here you go. There's nothing special about this day. There's nothing special about this time. Here's your trailer. I know I've been begging for Book of Boba Fett, like, promotional material, because we get a shit ton for Hawkeye. And so it's like, this marketing makes no sense to me. Lucasfilm, get your shit together, please.
It doesn't make any sense. And this does go into the conversation of, like, because we get all of our news from Star Wars News Net. Thank you guys for being so on top of things. They were the bigger person and actually sent out a tweet that night on Disney Plus Day and said, guys, we apologize. Our reports were wrong, blah, 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 blah. So because they had even said like, oh, this is what we expect to see on Disney Plus. We even had a show about it. We talked about it.
Well, and several reporters had talked about getting Kenobi footage at Disney Plus Day and going, oh yeah, we're gonna get something. And sometimes your sources are wrong. They're called scoopers for a reason. They try and scoop things before big trades can get them so that they can get some notoriety. I work in this business, like that's how it works, and it sucks. But sometimes when you scoop something, you're wrong. And so, like, Jordan Mason, who's the editor-in-chief for CineLex, kind of did the same thing. He was like, sorry, y'all, my scoop was wrong. There's not much I can do about it. He's been right. Like, apparently he did the scoop for the Darth Maul stuff, for the Kenobi, like, Ewan McGregor returning as Kenobi. So he's been right. It's just sometimes you're wrong. So, and probably what happened is Star Wars said, okay, here's who I think is leaking my shit. Let me tell them Kenobi footage is coming and see what happens. So, but I was hugely disappointed in Disney Plus Day. Number one, it was supposed to be a whole day, and it was from 8 to 12:30.
Yeah, I heard somebody on a podcast, I can't remember who it was, said that Disney Plus Day was treated more like a holiday than it was an event.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how you guys celebrate, for me, Christmas is from me waking up like I'm a freaking 4-year-old on Christmas Day at 5 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for everybody else to wake up so I can open my presents. And then it basically ends around noon. Like, we've already opened all the presents. We've all had family time, blah, 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 blah. Had, Christmas breakfast, lunch, and then we
Mhm.
go about our merry days. That's what this was.
Yep.
I was a little disappointed by it. Now, some people had things to say for the whole DC event or WB's DC fandom. I had stuff to say about it as well. I think that it was kind of lackluster compared to the first one. I really enjoyed what they did for the Investors Day. And I feel like they should have transformed that into their Disney Plus Day. Unless that's
Mhm.
something that they want to continue doing for their Investors Day, then just do it for both. I'm sorry. Like,
Well, so
it's worth
Investors
it.
Day is still supposed to happen the weekend of December 10th. So why are you
I'm not
again?
expecting any Star Wars. I'm sorry.
No. At this point, you expect the least and you're greatly surprised, but you're never disappointed. Y'all, I've had a really shitty day, okay? So I just
Oh, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. So I don't want to say this, and I do want to say this. Because I have always been behind Kathleen Kennedy and what she's doing for Star Wars, what the plans were looking like for Star Wars. I kind of want to jump right into this conversation. So
okay.
recently, and as recently as 2 days ago, yesterday, I can't remember exactly when this news dropped. It was
November 16th. So
16th. So yesterday. So this news dropped that Kathleen Kennedy has renewed her contract for another 3 years.
Cheers.
So it doesn't sound like you're too happy about this.
It's not that I'm not happy. First of all, let's get that straight. I've enjoyed the content Kathleen Kennedy has led to come
Yes,
out of Star
same.
Wars. Absolutely loved it. However, and this is a complaint that I've had with Marvel several times, so I'm not going to cut Disney out of the loop. Or I'm not going to cut Star Wars out of the loop when I give the MCU the same shit. Star Wars needs to learn to let directors flow with their creative freedom. Yes, you have to maintain a storyline. We get it. You have to maintain a storyline. I'm constantly on and on about maintain storyline. You got to do it. What you can't do is then not produce any content, because Star Wars is a $1 billion franchise.
Yes.
Point blank. Three of the 5 movies have been $1 billion movies that Kathleen Kennedy has put out. It can make money, but you have to produce content to still make money. As we can see by my legendary bookshelves over here. And by the way, I just finished out buying the rest of my canon book collection because I had a
Nice.
surprise like Monday day, so I bought the rest of my books. So you're making money off books. You're clearly making money off Disney Plus. What you can't do is then get in a rhythm and say Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are God. If they don't like it, nothing else works. Because what happens when Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau die? What are you going to do with your content then? Yes, God forbid. But like, seriously, Jon Favreau gets pissed off one day and goes, yeah, see you later, motherfucker. I'm gone. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
But it's
and this is what it feels like happening, because you have to enable more people to tell your story, because then otherwise we're going to end back up where we were when George Lucas started with the Clone Wars, and he's like, this is all in my head. I'm going to let Dave Filoni like learn some shit. And then he sold it, and Dave Filoni was then the only person that knew about Star Wars. He basically like followed it. I give him that much credit. He's done it. But again, you can, as Bob said, Disney sells Star Wars after that. No use for it anymore. Please don't. Well, you might can sell the movie contract or TV show contract, but please don't. So that's what my main concern is. I like the content Kathleen Kennedy has put out, but while being selective is a good thing with what you're putting out, sometimes you need to expand your horizons and let other creatives tell your story. I think Patty Jenkins, despite some of her issues with Wonder Woman 84 and some other films that she's had put out, I think she's a great storyteller. I think she had a lot of promise with Rogue Squadron, and that film has apparently been shelved. No more talks about it. IGN came out and reported it. Like Rian Johnson's trilogy has been shelved, and Patty Jenkins' trilogy has been Patty Jenkins' movie has been shelved. Yeah. So we're running into the issue, and we saw it with Rogue One. We saw it with Solo. We saw it with The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9, Duel of Fates, whatever you want to call it. And now we're seeing it with Rian Johnson's trilogy, and now we're seeing it with Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron. I'm sorely disappointed. And I think they could be doing a lot better.
100%. And it sucks because even when we say, oh, we applaud everything that has happened so far as the content that they have been putting out, but we are disliking this one thing, I know people are going to twist that. They're going to say, look, Kathleen Kennedy has more people who despise her and blah, 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 which is not true. I just think these choices that she has made fairly recently are the wrong choices. And Snell said it the other day. He said, the kind of attitude people think Kevin Feige has with his directors and how they're not able to do their own thing on their movies, on the Marvel movies, that's not true. This is exactly what Kathleen Kennedy is doing.
The difference, I think...
Oh, go ahead.
The difference, I think, is Marvel's, because I'm one of those people, y'all. Again, I said earlier, I don't think Kevin Feige allows a lot of director creative freedom. The difference is this Feige's like, no, you're going to make the movie I want, and you've already signed a contract, you're going to stay. Whereas Kathleen Kennedy's like, okay, you don't want to make the movie I want, get out. So at the very least, there's that. She knows what she wants, and she's not letting it out. I just think the biggest problem is that they want directors to stay in the Skywalker saga. And so they're having to beat around that storyline. Get out of the fucking Skywalker saga.
And I said it as soon as there was news that Patty Jenkins' movie was shelved, because we knew that it had been delayed. But as soon as they said, "Hey, it's done," I tweeted out, "This is what happens when you want to still play in the same sandbox over and over and over again." Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have what they have in the Skywalker saga. Everything else, move somewhere else. Do something else. There is a big enough playing field in the universe of Star Wars.
Make a Darth Bane book way before the Skywalker saga. Like, there is plenty of other material out there. And heck, if you wanted to stay in the Skywalker saga, then reboot the motherfucker. Like, reboot. Like, just go. I've had it. I've had it with Star Wars marketing control. Like, they tried it with Solo. They tried to say, okay, here's our new Han Solo actor, and they had him signed for multiple movies, and then they went nowhere with it. Like, pick the direction you want to go in, and say, okay, you are stuck in this sandbox, or you can go out of it. And if people want to play with well-known characters, beloved characters, then say, okay, you have to stay within the confines of the law. Otherwise, tell them, hey, you can go to 2000 BBY, before the Battle of Yavin, or you can go after the Battle of Yavin in the same year time frame. Just go. Like, give me some Star Wars content.
It is so sad that I'm a part of two fandoms that cannot get their shit together. Like, I love DC, I love Star Wars, and for some reason, like, it is so hard for them to make content, and I don't understand why. Like, this stuff, it prints fucking money. It makes itself. Like, genuinely, I don't know why it's so hard for them to just say, "Hey, you know what? This is over." Like, it, you have to say, like, freaking Harrison Ford, like, he's got the right idea. He's just like, kill me off. I'm done with this. I don't give a shit. I feel like Adam Driver is basically there as well. Every single conversation to Star Wars leads to him being like, yeah, I don't care. And, you know, I just want there to be Star Wars content that I can rely on. And right now, it seems like the only Star Wars content that I can rely on are books, which are great, don't get me wrong, and hopefully video games. But Katie's Lego Star Wars is still nowhere to be seen.
Y'all, and I'm sorry we've dropped so many F-bombs and cussed. Obviously, I drop some here and there on typical episodes, but I'm pissed. Like, I'm pissed that the MCU's over here, and yes, I'm jealous of the MCU. That's the first time I've said that ever. Like, I'm jealous of the MCU over here with their 10 billion forms of content, and we can't get anything on screen. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I know Lucasfilm recently, their head of marketing, as Bob said, Lego Star Wars is taking a New Mutants release strategy. Yep, I agree with that. I just don't get why. Oh, I was talking about the Lucasfilm head of PR retired, and so they're like in the process, I believe, of currently finding someone. So hopefully they can find someone that's going to bring a little bit of passion to the brand and go, you know what? No, we need to actually market our shit instead of relying on a core group of fans, because that's what Star Wars is doing. They're relying on a core group of fans to go, yeah, you know what? I'm going to tune in for that no matter what, which is like what we talked about on Disney Plus Day, was that these are for the general audience and they're not for us. The fact of the matter is MCU's trying to go, hey, we have a lot of different content coming out. We have Echo, we have Ironheart, we have She-Hulk, like lawyer show, like Native American show. Like, we have a bunch of different content under our umbrella that you can come in and tune into. And Disney's like, we got our fans. Like, we don't need to bring in anyone else. If you want to keep fans, you need to market.
Yes, 100%. It seems like a no-brainer, and for some reason, Lucasfilm is stumbling in for me, it looks like they're falling flat on their face. I don't see anybody.
Mhm.
I don't see how anybody can look at what Star Wars is doing right now and confidently say, "Oh, Star Wars is doing the right thing. Lucasfilm is doing the right thing right now."
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
But before we move on, let's go ahead and take our very first ad break. We don't choose the ads. We don't choose how many times the ad repeats itself or how loud these get. So we will give you a small 3 count just in case those ads are a little loud. And we will be right back. Ready? 3, 2, 1. We will be right back. And we are back. So, we almost talked about every single thing in there. We talked about D23. We talked about Kathleen Kennedy. So tell me, how do you pronounce this? Halcyon? How?
So, okay, let me pull it up for a second because I accidentally closed this one. So, the Galactic Star Cruiser is a Disney. Basically, it's a Disney hotel. Basically, you go in for 2 days and you RPG for those 2 days. So you're immersed into the galaxy. It's not like Batu or Galaxy's Edge, whatever you want to call it. Like, this is a physical hotel. You are basically locked in there for 2 days. And what they did with Galaxy's Edge is that they plug and played it in several different spots in the book universe. And then they also did it. Did they do it in the movies? I don't think they did it in the movies. But they did it heavily in the books. And so the name of the Galactic Star Cruiser, which is the hotel, the ship name is called the Halcyon. How I don't know. We're gonna go with Halcyon.
So is this the hotel that costs like a shit ton of money to stay in or whatever?
Yes.
Oh man. I wish.
Yes. Hey, they're running a contest right now.
Well, I think they've
where-
already announced winners.
No, I thought that they weren't announcing winners until January 4th. So you can
Oh, really?
go. There's you can go through December 17th, I think, and do all this stuff. It's on the StarWars.com website where you can go do all this stuff. I think you have to go comment on an Instagram post, and then you can also submit content through the website. It does have Disney shitty rules of sweepstakes where anything you say in there can and will be used against you in a court of law, aka it belongs to Disney and sucks to suck. But they are announcing winners on the Wave 3 live stream, which will occur January 3rd, 2022. So, but you can win a full expense paid trip on one of the earlier rounds of the Galactic Star Cruiser. And they will fly you out for 4. They will fly you and 4 people, you and 3 people out, with airfare all paid and the hotel paid. And then you also get to meet the High Republic authors. So that is what they're giving away right now. So yeah.
All expenses paid? Hell, I might actually try to win this thing. Holy crap. Because see, most of these things are going to be like, oh, you win, but you still have to find your way over here. You still have to pay for everything. And it's like, why even tell me to freaking enter if I can't win, you know?
I looked at it, and honestly, it would be really cool to enter, but I'm also taking 4 days off at the beginning of the year, and I only have 2 weeks of vacation. But I need to go on a honeymoon at some point. So, going to Mexico. Yay!
And I don't think your husband would necessarily love a locked indoor Star Wars RPG honeymoon.
I actually think honeymoon wise, no. Geek experience, yes. Because he is actually, we were talking about it right before, and he was like, I hope you weren't expecting me to come on this podcast tonight. And I was like,
I voted for him to come on. He needs to come on.
I know, but hang on. So I said, because he when I asked him and I kept asking him to come on, he was like, no, I really don't want to, and kept saying no. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna post on Twitter and see if I can get people to have you come on, or convince you to come on. And he was actually convinced to come on. We've just been so busy that he didn't have time to prepare show notes and like things he wanted to say. So he was like, yeah, I'll go on next week's if I have some time to like prepare some stuff. So he has like agreed. Now, if he actually follows through, will be one thing, but he really enjoyed the show. So
that's cool. That's really, really cool. I'm excited to see his thoughts on the 4 seasons of Rebels. So,
y'all, I have a really supportive husband. Okay, he allows me to follow my geek dreams.
Now, we do have to retract a little bit of a story that we did talk about earlier this week or last week. Was the fact that we thought that Chloe Zhao was going to be directing Kevin Feige's Star Wars film. That does not seem to be the case anymore, or never was. How exactly is... Again, I'm very confused as the decisions and news that comes out when it comes to Star Wars.
So, number one, I'm calling. I know this is from Hollywood Reporter, and I know this is from Aaron Couch and Boris Kitt, who are fairly reliable when it comes to insider news and everything. And so, what they say is that because again, it's not official unless it is on StarWars.com. We live by that rule over here. While we do get our news from other places and we provide y'all information on like scoops and stuff, at the end of the day, all it is really rumors unless we're saying, hey, this is from StarWars.com. So what Boris and Aaron said is, and finally, we've been hearing this one all week, but insiders insist that no, Chloe Zhao is not directing Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie or any Star Wars movie. And so at the end of the day, insiders are insiders. While Boris and Aaron report for trades have definitely been wrong about Star Wars news. I can't think of any like come to mind off the top of my head, but everybody's wrong at some point. And like Boris admitted that he was wrong the other day too about something. I think it was Marvel related. So at the end of the day, you can have different insiders and they can tell you one thing and not another. At this point, Kevin Feige may be telling people that Zhao isn't directing a movie because he doesn't want anyone to know she's directing it because Eternals has gotten like mixed reviews. So they may want kind of a good vibe to spread about Eternals and Nomadland and some of the other stuff she's directed in order to kind of get that far with it. But honestly, I think like StarWars.com didn't confirm anything. StarWars.com never confirms anything in the trades. They just like report their own stuff. So we'll see. So again, it was rumored.
If it's true that Kevin Feige is like, oh, I have to wait until I get a final verdict on if people like you. I hate the reactionary
bullshit.
Exactly. Of every like, choose your fucking director and stick to your guns. If you wanted her to be the director of Eternals, you ripped that Band-Aid. It's happened. Movie's already in theaters. And if you've already chosen her to be your director for the Star Wars film, like, how shitty of a person are you to be like, people are not really liking you anymore, so I guess I gotta cut you loose. Like,
yeah, and unfortunately that happens a lot. And when it comes to big name movies, I mean, Patty Jenkins got it with Wonder Woman. And it's like those little fans that turn into big voices. That's like, what are we doing having a woman direct this? And Zhao's movie was the biggest movie for a female director to direct. I mean, you could say Kate Shortland with Black Widow did it, but Black Widow also was in the middle of a pandemic, and she was already taking on a character that had been fully developed by Marvel, the MCU. Eternals is something brand new, not even a lot of comic book fans. I mean, you're a big comic book person. You even said, hey, I don't know anything about Eternals. And so taking on a brand new property really for the MCU kind of says, okay, we're taking a big step in trusting you to develop a process. And so it definitely sucks that there's still sexist people out there that can't just go, you know what, I didn't like this movie, and say, okay, it was for things other than the fact that a female director is at the head of it. So I don't know. Again, I still take things with coming from the Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, The Wrap. The Wrap is like bottom tier trade.
Oh yeah,
for me.
Same.
But everything from a trade that's Star Wars related is still a grain of salt because they have their own insiders. Yes, sometimes studios give them feeds to the information. So we have Belle in the chat, and they said they just joined.
Oh yeah, they said just join. I want to point out, no one really knows anything about Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie. It's still a total mystery. That is true.
And that was the point I was just about to make. We literally know nothing about any of these movies except what Patty Jenkins was supposed to be directing. So everything's in the pipeline, but nothing is in the pipeline. So
it's the dark times of DC all over again. This is rough. I don't know how I feel about it. And I guess you can kind of, in a way, just still have hope on the horizon, just to be like, hey, maybe they're just all getting their shit together right now and coming out with a great slate when it comes to, because see, the biggest problem will be in what was the December 10th is the Investors Day?
Let me do a Google. Disney Investor
Because
Day.
if they have the guts to say, hey, Lucasfilm will not be presenting on Investors Day, that is some shit. Like, you got to have some balls to be able to do that.
I'm not seeing a.
Because if anything, I'm sure, because our fellow co-host and friend here at the GOA, Chris, is an investor. Of course, he will be able to jump into that call. He will, of course, get notifications, everything else. We could just ask him. But even still, it's December. We all know it's December, like the first 2 weeks of December or whatever.
Mhm.
Do you think they do what they did here on Disney Plus Day? Or do you see them actually just basically doing a repeat of what they did last Investors Day and doing the exact same shows with different footage?
I can see them talking about all of the shows that they've got on the horizon. Minus obviously, of course, Rangers of the New Republic. And just saying, yeah, these are still in the pipeline. We're good to go. They may show some exclusive footage to investors, but yeah, I'm not happy when you get more.
I don't know. Because again, like I said, worst times of DC, it felt like we got nothing. Like, not even when they were promoting, Birds of Prey and other films, when right before the pandemic was hitting, it felt like almost nothing. So I'm hoping for the bare minimum, which is really sad to say. But hopefully we do get something for sure.
Yeah.
do you want to go ahead and move on to what our main topic was supposed to be last week? We had to push it, but this week we are actually. It looks like we have enough time because I don't think it'll be long at all to review Attack of the Clones.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So let's go ahead and take quite possibly our final ad break for the night. And we will talk about my second viewing since theaters of Attack of the Clones. So we will be right back. And we are back. So, Katie, you, of course, are probably the biggest Star Wars fan I know. What did you think about rewatching this movie?
I love Attack of the Clones so much. It is definitely like top 3 Star Wars movie for me. Like this is my comfort movie. That's not Solo. I know Clay's staring at me with like the wide eyes, and I'm like, Clay, do you not know my rankings for Star Wars? Did you not listen to that Patreon?
I feel like I did, and I'm pretty sure I did because I was wanting to like redo my have a whole new rewatch for me and list mine. But I mean, Katie, you are also the queen of hot takes, so it does not surprise me that this is
So
the top 3 in your list.
So this is current as of December 2020. So I need to go through and like rewatch all of them. Like I want to do it in order and then like go through and like re-rank these. So just like as a kind of for shits and giggles. So I've got Rise of Skywalker, Solo, Attack of the Clones, Return of the Jedi, A New Hope, Rogue One, The Last Jedi, Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, The Force Awakens, and The Phantom Menace. That is my 1 to 12 ranking.
Interesting.
And like it completely changes based on my mood, but Solo and Attack of the Clones are always up in top 5. And then like the rest of it constantly changes.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. See, for me, you already know my hot take because I had that review with Nathan not so long ago. But the Last Jedi is probably in my top 3, if not top 5, depending on my mood as well. But I will say this. There are moments that I absolutely love in this movie, and there's moments that I just don't care for at all.
It is like Hi, Nathan.
And there he is.
Hi, Nathan. Nathan will be back in 2 weeks, y'all, to talk about Lesser Evil. So
I'm excited to listen to it.
So what was I gonna say? So this is like the cheesy romance of Star Wars movies that like I actually physically want another Star Wars movie to like feel like this. Like Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. If y'all haven't read that, that's a young adult book. And it's like a Romeo and Juliet type feel where like they start out on the same page and then one goes to the rebellion and then one goes to the empire. And it's so good. I love it. I love it to death. But like and I know some of like the Anakin Padme stuff is super cheesy, but y'all, I love Twilight. Twilight is like a guilty pleasure, like cheesy romance movie for me. So you're never gonna find me hating on it because it's like it just makes me feel all warm and gushy inside.
For me, I love this movie as the introduction to Hayden Christensen's Anakin.
Yep.
I think that he did what he could with, of course, the script, the material, and who his character is in the path towards Darth Vader. Now, I will say this. It kind of, and I think it was like this on purpose, because of course he is a Padawan. He's supposed to listen to Obi-Wan. He shouldn't be having the desires that he does. But like, I forgot how like dismissive he was to Obi-Wan in some of these moments of just like, oh, she's so beautiful. And I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
You haven't seen her in 10 years. What the fuck?
chill, dude. Like, keep it in your pants. Oh my God. And there, for me, it felt cringy, but at the same time, it is that moment of like, he hasn't seen her in 10 years. So I understand what they were going for. So I kind of waved it off at that point.
Yeah.
Just wanted to see this right here. Bell says, my hot take is Phantom Menace is my top 5 only because the badass legend that is Darth Maul. Everything else is blah. I actually like Phantom Menace. And don't get me wrong, Duel of the Fates is absolutely the reason why. But I was watching the this movie. Duel of the Fates came on at such a random moment in this movie.
Random fact about Duel of the Fates. So my mom has had basically like the same iPhone. Like she just moves it from new model to new model. And so she was like making all of us specific ringtones, and she was going to do my ringtone as the Imperial March. And I said, no, I'm not going to be basic like every other Star Wars fan and have my ringtone be Imperial March. You need to do Duel of the Fates. And so my sister has started working with her now. And I call my mom like every other morning pretty much. And so when they're working and she's in the office, and I can always hear my sister in the background yelling, your ringtone scares the crap out of me. So random facts. Nathan says he loves episode 2. Love Hayden and Natalie.
So again, their relationship is awkward, but it's supposed to be awkward because
Yes.
of the absence that they've had for 10 years. I completely understand it. Now, I would say they need to definitely work on the dialogue if Katie's dreams were to ever come true with a full reboot. Whew, my gosh. But
disclaimer, I don't want to reboot. I think everything's perfect, and I think Lucasfilm just needs to get over themselves and go, get out of the Skywalker saga. Okay, continue.
I love the banter between Obi-Wan and Anakin. The true brotherly type of banter that they have. The moment where they're chasing the bounty hunter, and the moments of like, oh, I hate it when you do that. Oh, I hate it when he does that. Oh, why are you doing this? You know, those moments I really do enjoy because it shows, okay, they did have an entire 10 years together. They have a relationship, which I would have liked a little bit more because, of course, you have those little inside jokes or whatever, and that's fun and all, but I want to see their relationship on screen. And we didn't really get to see that until, of course, Clone Wars came out, and we saw a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a novel bridging the gap between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones.
That's what I was just gonna say. So the novel announcement that we got has a young adult novel. Is it a young adult or is it a middle grade? I can't remember. But there's 3 novels supposed to be coming out along with the anthology about the Tales of Jedi and Sith. And we are supposed to be getting either the middle grade or the young adult. We're getting a bridge. I think it's called Padawan. And it's by a new author, and it explores their relationship. Is it their relationship? Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Please hold. You keep talking. I'm gonna Google.
Well, I do like I said, I love that entire scene when they chase the bounty hunter. You know, we kind of get the smug arrogance of Anakin at the same time, like his confidence of being a Jedi, being a Padawan, like knowing the Force now, I do enjoy that. Like the whole thing of like, oh, Padme said that she wanted to do it, making her the bait to see if anybody was going to try to kill her. The whole doppelganger thing again, like I knew it was coming because I feel like that was like the one thing I do remember from this movie.
Yeah.
Like the opening scene, like the ship blows up. I'm like, oh, that's not her. And as soon as the person came with the helmet, I was like, oh, there she is. Like that's clearly her, probably.
Yeah. So if you want to cry at that part, read the Padme novels because you get a lot of characterization for Corday, who's the handmaiden, who's the doppelganger in that scene.
Mhm.
And I like this is the first time I've seen Attack of the Clones since I've read. I think it's Queen Shadow, and like I about was like bawling at that point. I was like, "Fuck!" Like, dang it. Joe is popping in here. Labyrinth of Evil is a great prequel to Attack of the Clones. It's a legend novel. Do I have that one on my shelf?
Labyrinth of Evil. I am checking it on Audible right now to see if it's there. Let's see here. What is it called? Labyrinth?
Yes, I do not have that one. It is on my Christmas list from my mother.
Ooh,
But
Star Wars Labyrinth of Evil right here on Audible.
Make sure you check if it's an unabridged copy or an abridged copy.
Where would it say that?
So it should say that. You can also tell in the length because a typical audiobook is going to run you anywhere from about 8 hours to like Lesser Evil, for instance, which is 23 hours and 13 minutes. So it kind of tells you in the length.
This is 5 hours and 1 minute. It does say the must-listen prequel to Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So it's not a prequel to Attack of the Clones. It's a prequel to the Revenge of the Sith.
Wow, come on, Joe, get your shit together.
Because it's I'm looking at them now. There's one that says Rogue Planet, and the cover has Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That's
That
5
one's in
hours
there.
and 20 minutes. I need to look at them.
I feel like this one is abridged because in my library, for instance, because I've seen Labyrinth of Evil in stores, so I know like about how wide it is as a mass market paperback, and like my Heir to the Empire book, which is a little bigger than it, is 13 hours and 9 minutes. So I feel like the 5 hours is an abridged copy. So I would not get that on Audible.
All right. Okay. I'm kind of just like dead in the water until more High Republic stuff comes out because I'm not really trying to read anything else other than Star Wars stuff. And right now, I'm probably going to wait until I have because there's 3 adult books for Star Wars coming out next year, and then the rest are going to be. I mean, of course, there's the Legends stuff that's coming out, the Wave or whatever, as well as the like Brother and all of that. So I'm saving up for those. But as far as High Republic, I think there's 3 adults, 2 young adult, and then you have like the young grade. I think.
So
like
what
2.
we're probably gonna get is we're probably gonna get 2 waves again. So we're gonna get wave 3 of the end of High Republic, and then we're gonna get wave 1 of phase 2 of the High Republic.
Yeah.
So that's gonna still be so it's gonna be 2 adult books, 2 young adult, and then 2 middle grade. So that's probably what we're gonna get there. I did find the press release, and the book that I was talking about is by Kirsten White. It is called Padawan, but it is about Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's a young adult.
See, that's what I want, just because I want more Qui-Gon Jinn. But here, I'm trying to remember things that like I was legitimately surprised about. again, a lot of the dialogue between Padme and Anakin was a little surprising to me because I forgot how like he came off strong when he was coming, like when he was talking to Obi-Wan. Like he had all disregard to the ways of a Jedi once he was in Padme's presence. And I'm like, bro, you just need to calm down. Like,
Yeah.
this is not a good look. And even there's a moment where Obi-Wan even says, like, you will listen to me. Like, you need to know your place. Which was a little surprising as well. Because you know that the fact that they are like they have a kinship, so it's more than just a master and a Padawan. But I enjoyed the film, but like I said, there's just moments where I'm just like, I could go without uh the little date that Padme and Anakin had, because I understand it shows that they're building a relationship, and for me personally, I'm a big person of show don't tell. But when it
Yeah.
comes to romance, I feel like I need to get a little bit more of an insight, especially for two individuals that haven't seen each other in 10 years. Like, it was like, boom, it's like we're kids again. Woohoo!
Well, and so Padme's about 13 in The Phantom Menace. I know she looks older. Natalie Portman, and I say 13. That's like, because I think the rule, like the queenship for Naboo, you had to be anywhere from 10 to 14, I think is what it was. And she's also on the younger side of that. So whatever that age limit is, she's like just above it. So she's maybe, if it's 10 to 14, then she's like I don't think it's 10 to 14. It's got to be like 12 to 16 because she's still
That
older
is
than him.
insane. That is
Yes.
absolutely insane.
And it was a big thing in like cultures because like Leia takes on the junior senator position on Alderaan when she's 15. So
Yes.
like it's big into like okay, you're young, you're gonna do your service now kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so she's like, people are like, oh, it looks creepy. She's a teenager, regardless of what the rulership limit is. She's a
Hey,
teenager.
I just
and
want to
attacking
say
clones.
to
So
all of you, everybody, we were all freshmen looking at the seniors. We all were. Don't act like you weren't, being like, oh, she's the big deal. She's the popular girl. Oh my God, look at him. He's so dreamy. Yeah, y'all were all doing it. Don't act like you weren't. So,
And so Anakin's maybe
bless you.
oh, okay. Anakin's like 9 or 10. So their age difference is maybe 5 years. Maybe. So while it looks kind of creepy in that sense, like realistically, it's not. So it's like a childhood crush. Like you're finding your middle grade sweetheart all of a sudden 10 years later when you've graduated high school and are like,
So Joe said she was 14 and he was 9 and 10. She had to wait until he was 20 before she could make her move on him. I mean, I don't know what the legal age limit is in Star Wars, but I would assume that it's universal. I would assume.
yes.
It doesn't bother me too much as far as that, to be completely honest. Because at that point they are both adults. Like it was clear that Anakin is an adult at the time of this movie, so it doesn't bother me that they are together.
So for me, in my book, I think it's just like, oh, you're finding your childhood crush, and that's what Anakin's kind of dreamed of because he had. Y'all, I'm fidgeting again. He had those feelings as a kid. So for me, that's kind of what I feel it's like because like especially for me being homeschooled, it was cool to see on screen. And again, I still laugh at my childhood self that as they're riding out to the arena, that I thought that was Luke and Leia. and I was really confused because we had seen Return of the Jedi, and I knew they were brother and sister. I was like, they're still kissing? What? So,
That's weird.
I was like 8, okay?
Now,
So
how do you feel like, again, it's weird talking about this movie because it's such an older movie and we
mhm,
know the outcome, right?
yeah.
We know the outcome of all of this. But in the instance of uh Obi-Wan going to see the clones, learning about all that, I had to do some backtracking, and I was the oh shoot. The Master Jedi that made
Sifo-Dyas.
Sifo-Dyas. I was like,
Y'all, my
okay.
brain's just full of Star Wars knowledge.
I was like, okay, where has he actually shown? Because we've now seen so much in between. And he is legit only shown as a vision to Master Yoda. That is the only visual appearance. Now, of course, Katie's going to grab a book. Yes, it does say on the Star Wars wiki that he does make an appearance in Jedi Lost. I know this because I just recently did research while I was watching the movie. But as far as visual media for me, I'm still catching up on Legend stuff. So that's a book I know that I have to read.
This is not Legends. This is canon.
Oh, it's canon?
It is an audio drama. So it has all the voices and stuff like Tempest Runner.
Ooh, see,
And
that's
it's
the
by
stuff that I
Kevin
love.
Scott. So,
Ooh, even better. So I'm definitely
and
gonna
this
put
is the
that on the
book.
list.
This is the book that has several High Republic mentions, including when Yoda walks through and says, "These are the Jedi that have been lost," and talks about a Master Trennis.
Oh, well, you know what? I have a credit that came in just about 2 days ago. I'm probably going to buy that today. Now, the big thing for me though is like, okay, so nobody knew about this, right? Nobody knew about this. And then of course, Sifo-Dyas is struck down. He dies however many years ago. I think Obi-Wan said like 10 years ago or whatever, literally
Mhm.
right before they met Anakin. So my thing is, how does like because I was always intrigued by this. How does an entire clone army be created in secret?
I don't necessarily think it was in secret. And Dooku Jedi, I won't talk about it too much because Dooku Jedi Lost does kind of dive into what Sifo-Dyas was thinking, and also kind of what happens. Again, not gonna spoil it for you. You can go read it yourself, and then we can talk
Okay.
about it more next week. But I, while it's secret, I think with Kamino being deleted from the Jedi archives, that's one very good way to keep it secret. And we like they talk about how it's going to take time. So in
So
that
I got a
perspective,
question though.
okay.
Doesn't make any sense for it to be that kid, but the kid that tells Obi-Wan that uh it was erased from the archives, is that the same kid that Anakin confronts in Revenge of the Sith when he
I don't
attacks the younglings?
I don't think so because I thought it was an alien kid.
Was it?
We can do a Google. People put these things on the internet.
I will do what I will do is I will turn my volume down and I will look on Disney Plus. But I'm pretty sure because there is a lot of different species of alien in that room with Master Yoda. But I believe the one who actually says the words, uh, somebody must have deleted it from the archive, is a humanoid individual, is a humanoid child.
So the one he confronts in Revenge of the Sith is human. So Yoda and his younglings. That's not helpful. Come on, CVR.
So Gosh, how far? It's got to be kind of early on. Because it's right before Anakin goes into Tatooine. It is right. Oh, nope. He is still on Camino. God, it's within the first hour. Jesus.
Yeah, I can't.
And I will edit all of this with magic of editing. Of course, right here. Okay, it is around the 40-minute mark of the film.
Joe said, "I'll tell you who it is. A dead kid."
I mean, it is, though. As morbid as that sounds, actually, it's around 36 minutes. So he is, like you said, there's a lot of kids in there. Prominently, there is one that is, what is the race of Ahsoka?
Ahsoka Tano. Let's do more Googles. Togruta.
There's a child of that race, but when the child says, let's see here. Yeah, he's human. He's human.
Oh.
So, and now that I look at him,
same kid.
I don't think it is. There's a significant time jump between 2 and 3. Clearly,
not really. It's about 3 years, but
it's only 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it only took them freaking 5 to 8 years to make the damn movie. Because that Revenge of the Sith came out 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
And this one came out in 2003 because Phantom Menace was 99. I think.
Uh-huh.
Man, my memory.
So yeah, there's only 3 years between Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones.
That's insane. So it seems like a flawed idea that or not flawed, but I'm like, there's got to be discrepancies. Where's the paper trail? It's a whole freaking planet that is made for a whole freaking army. So 3-year gap, 99 to 02, and then 02 to 05.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Joe's fact checking us. Bell said, "Oh God, mentioning years makes me feel old."
I mean, at 99, Katie was only 3 years old.
Well, when did it come out? Yeah, you may be right. Yeah, I was either 3 or 4. I think I was 3.
You're 97, right? You're a 97 baby?
95.
Oh, okay. I thought you were a 97. I was like, oh no. But so there's that. The one moment that I actually really, really love, because I feel like it really, of course, makes the change for Anakin, is going to Tatooine. Mm-hmm. And of course, we see his new stepdaddy and his cousins. Now, it was, I don't even know if this was in the original or if it was later added per Lucas, like he usually does with all of his Star Wars films. But Qui-Gon Jinn had his voice in this movie, right? In the original? Or was it added?
There's a special edition of Attack of the Clones?
I don't know.
I feel like we do more Googling.
I just feel like Attack of the Clones is newer enough to where they could just add shit and not have to be considered special features, you know.
Release. I
don't think it is, but
no,
because and of course, when I was watching this at in theaters, 02, I was literally 10 So for me, I was just like, oh, Star Wars, a lightsaber, cool, yeah. But like
Yeah.
now, of course, I'm finding all the connective tissue and everything else. I really enjoyed the fact that you heard Qui-Gon Jinn. Not only did you hear Qui-Gon Jinn, but you hear Qui-Gon Jinn when the camera is set on Master Yoda. That is very important due to the fact that Qui-Gon Jinn later on in the Attack of the Clones, or sorry, the Wars series, he comes to Master Yoda talking about the secret to becoming one with the Force.
Yeah.
Joe says I was 19 when Attack was.
Sorry, Joe.
Oh, old man. Isn't it past your bedtime, bud? Getting close
Wait.
to it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. Jin, when Anakin prepared to murder Tusken Raiders, Jin tries to stop him.
Yeah, he says, no, Anakin, no. And it's when Master Yoda is like meditating, and that's when Mace Windu comes in. And he's like, oh, what is that? Or what's wrong? And he says, oh, whatever is happening to young Skywalker, he's in pain. I really appreciate that because, like I said, you get a little bit more connective tissue to that in Clone Wars. Joe says he's got 45 minutes before bedtime.
Joe, you just could have come on and joined us. You're always welcome.
Next time, bud. Next time. But there's that. I always thought there was more Mace Windu in this, and there's not. Not until the end, and like he is really only there to kill Boba Fett, really, or not Jango Fett. Sorry, friggin'. I always think of that meme of Boba Fett holding the helmet and the head flopping out. Oh, it's so great. I love it. I absolutely love it.
My favorite part of this film is the arena scenes. I just remember like being a kid and watching all of these lightsabers come out and like all of them jumping down. It was the coolest stuff ever. And especially like seeing like when Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme are chained on the posts, and Anakin's like, well, what about Padme? And Obi-Wan's like, oh yeah, she's got this covered. She's on top of things. And she's like climbing up there. It was so cool to see that as a kid and going, oh, look, the female who doesn't have force powers is like climbing up. Y'all, I'm sorry I always like go down to this stuff, but it's like it really meant a lot to me as a kid because you see all these like men doing all these things and I'm like, oh, she's independent. Like she's not depending on Obi-Wan or Anakin to come over there and rescue her. And she's like physically like she's got the strength to whip that chain at the beast and go, no. And
that was actually one of the questions for our trivia on the Geekverse charity stream was who jumped from the pillar onto and I forgot the name of the beast, but it was the bone, freaking beast or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course it was Padme. I really enjoyed the arena scene also because it was the first time we've ever seen more than two lightsabers come on at the same time.
Yeah.
We actually saw like a giant army of Jedi. And I always loved the story of Samuel L. Jackson talking about how he got his purple lightsaber of, oh yeah, I asked him what color lightsaber I'm going to get. And George Lucas was like, oh, it's either going to be blue or green because that's the colors of lightsabers. He's like, but nobody's going to be able to find me. Nobody's going to know who I am. And then he's like, can we make it purple? And lo and behold, they made it purple. I just think that's
I'm Samuel Jackson, motherfucker. I get a purple lightsaber, damn it.
I just think it's a really cool story. But I do, the number one thing that I absolutely always remember in this movie is the Yoda Dooku fight. And just that whole scene. First, it's of course Obi-Wan and Dooku. I wish there was more dialogue in it. I know. Did they mention anything about Qui-Gon? I feel like they did. I can't remember.
He is mentioned, I believe, in the Naboo scenes.
Okay.
And Padme likes to visit his grave there because he was burned on Naboo. So she likes to visit his grave there and just kind of like remind herself of why she does what she does, because it's him stepping in and showing her a greater universe is why she ultimately chose to become a senator, was so that she could hope to do some good with her career galaxy wide and not just for Naboo.
Nice. But I enjoyed the Obi-Wan and Dooku fight, and then I thought that it was a little bit like, as a kid, I remember it being a lot flashier, the Anakin and Dooku fight. But honestly,
Mm-hmm.
all it was, if you pay close enough attention, the camera was just set on Dooku and Anakin's face, and it legit just looks like there was lights behind the cameraman that they're just like, okay, flash red, okay, flash blue, okay, flash red, okay, flash blue. And of course, you see
Mm-hmm.
their arms kind of waving or whatever, which was a little bit of a disappointment. But compared to what happens when freaking Yoda comes in, he's like, oh, nah, like, I'm coming in and I'm taking out my lightsaber and I'm fighting. And Dooku knows, he's like, I'm gonna die. Like, if this goes on any further, I'm going to die. And of course, he cheats and freaking pushes some rubble and like crashes it down, trying to kill Obi-Wan and Anakin. And of course, Yoda, saves them.
Well, and so I never understood this until I actually like got further into things. But and I don't know if you know this. Do you know Dooku was Yoda's Padawan, like his actual Padawan?
Dooku was Yoda's Padawan?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I did know that. For some reason, because Qui-Gon was Dooku's, and then
Mm-hmm.
Dooku was Yoda's. But I didn't know that he was like his direct Padawan.
Yeah. So like Yoda trains a bunch of younglings, and that's what he's doing in the High Republic, is training younglings to then become Padawans. But in Dooku Jedi Lost, Yoda actually physically takes Dooku as his Padawan. And I won't tell you why, but there's a reason. Bell says one of their favorite parts of the movie was when Anakin explained to Obi-Wan he got the message and retransmitted it. Then he and Padme decided to rescue him, and Obi-Wan was like, "Good job." Yeah, I laughed at that. Obi-Wan has a lot of good lines in this where he's just like a sarcastic asshole, and I just love it.
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
Yes, and I thought that scene was a lot longer than it was. It's so funny. It's just like,
But overall, I think it's a good film.
mm-hmm.
Again, for me personally, a little bit of cringy dialogue. I think that in 2021, I do think it would be written completely different.
Yeah.
And probably a little bit better. But we got what we got. It's for me, I do think that it's a timeless movie because it is Star Wars. It does very much still feel like Star Wars. It's still in that whole story. It's still all great.
Mm-hmm.
I still love the inclusion of C-3PO and
Yep.
him immediately recognizing Anakin and Padme. I thought that was really, really
Mm-hmm.
cool. But yeah, overall, really great movie.
Yeah, I love it. This one's always gonna hold a special piece in my heart. And so I hope everyone finds a prequel that they love. And I'm still a staunch defender of the prequels. So
I will admit, because this is legit only my second viewing of that movie. I was always the bandwagoner of like, oh yeah, the Attack of the Clone sucks. It sucks. I'm gonna say everything that everybody else is saying because it sucks. But it's genuinely not bad. And even for me, it's so funny when it comes to the prequels. I remember the marketing more than anything. which is crazy to think about in today's Star Wars world. If you guys do remember, you will remember the Mountain Dew commercials. You remember the Dorito commercials, like the Pepsi commercials. Like it was all over the place, and you just don't get it like that anymore. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Well, y'all, I think this concludes us. This has been a wonderful episode. Clay, do we have anything else to talk about?
I don't believe so. Now, I will say that for those of you listening on Friday, stay tuned for tomorrow because Walk Through the Multiverse is going to be featuring me and Joe. Just want to do that small little plug before we end the show because I am going to be on the GUA 4 times this week. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, Greg says, well, not going to listen to that. So
the answer is no. We're not going to say what, but the answer is no.
Yes.
Point blank, no.
But of course, you can always find me at Fanboy Clay on Twitter. And in the bio is the link tree to all of the shows that I host, that including DC Alliance, Batman News Weekly, Comic Book Legion Podcast, Weird Science, Marvel, DC, and manga, as well as the Ranger Alliance, and of course, this show, the Ranger Alliance. Katie, where can they find you?
Before I say that, I do just want to call out Belle. Belle, thanks for participating in the chat tonight. They said, I feel like because of how people feel about the sequels and because of Clone Wars as well, it changed a lot of people's feelings about the prequels. And I can agree with that.
100% agree.
But we thank you for being here and we hope you come back because this was fun. You can find me on Twitter. It's at Slice of Katie. I am on the show. I am on the GUA twice a week. Sometimes one, depends on if I'm feeling productive with Slice of Film or not. And so Slice of Film is on here. It's at Slice of Film 1. And if you want to come talk about a movie with me, feel free to reach out because I love talking about movies with people. Clay, I've still got to get you scheduled for I think 2 more movies. So gotta get that rolling. And then so it's Ghostbusters month. Ghostbusters 1 and 2 dropped this past Sunday. And so we'll be talking about Ghostbusters 2016 with Sarah. I'm recording that tomorrow.
I still need to watch that movie. I have not seen it before.
It's in. So I got it on DVD because it was cheaper to get it on. I got it on DVD because it was cheaper to get all 3 on DVD than to rent them. So I got those, and the version I got is in 3D, but it's not actually in 3D. So it's just it's shooting into the black bars and stuff. Really throwy. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But we weren't able to finish it yesterday. So yeah. So you can find Slice of Film there and tune in Sunday to get that into podcast feeds. And then we'll be talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife the next also on Sunday, and that will be live. We'll be talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife live on Sunday. So make sure you tune into that. Time to be determined. I will post it in advance though. So yeah, and then this show you can find on Twitter as well. It's at Star Wars Alliance without the A, and the war is very important. Don't forget it. Obviously we talked about Attack of the Clones. The next 2 episodes we've got Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures and Volume 1. So we will be talking about that next week. Easy breezy episode for the night before Thanksgiving. And then the following week, Clay is taking a well-deserved break. And Nathan will be coming on to talk about Lesser Evil. Time to be determined because Nathan has special time requirements because he gets up really early. So we don't want to have him cranky the next day. Love you, Nathan. Mean it.
He needs his beauty sleep.
So, but yeah, y'all, that is about it. I want to wish everyone a great day or night, whatever time of day you're listening or watching. And we'll see y'all next time. May the Force be with you.
See ya.